All right, Joe Scarborough from TDSBC.
Read you a text from someone who, I won't say their name, but we'll just say that they're very liberal. And he says, this may sound controversial, but I'm not totally opposed to Trump's National Guard move in D.C. I know he's doing it for politics, but crime remains rampant. I've had two.
Excuse me, how do you know that Trump is doing it for politics? Can you read his mind? That's the thing that I hear a lot. Now, I know that people on the right do it as well. They try to say this is what these politicians are trying to do, and they try to assume that's what they're trying to do. But not very many people on the right do it. What we tend to judge people by are their words and their actions, not what we think they're trying to do, not their motives. We leave up to God. All right, God takes care of the motives. But when it comes to dealing with what someone says, you deal with them based on what they say and then what they do about what they say. So let's not fall into this trap where we're trying to read people's minds or trying to project, because that's another thing that I find very disturbing. People project their worst fears onto other people. So here's a liberal who clearly watches TDSBC, and they are saying out loud what they've been hearing TDSBC say for years about Donald Trump. How he's going to do this, how he's going to do the other thing, how he's going to destroy the world. And they're simply parroting what they've been told for years.
Friends carjacked, shot at. None of us will walk more than 3 blocks after 8 p.m. 13-year-olds are committing many of these crimes.
I'm going to rewind
We'll just say that they're very liberal. And he says, this may sound controversial, but I'm not totally opposed to Trump's National Guard move in D.C. I know he's doing it for politics, but crime remains rampant. I've had too many friends carjacked, shot at. None of us will walk more than 3 blocks after 8 p.m. 13-year-olds are committing many of these crimes. Quite a change from a decade ago when things were much calmer. Well, that actually sounds like the D.C. that I lived in when I lived a block behind the Supreme Court. And, you know, every 3 days, one of my neighbors was getting held up at gunpoint. I mean, there has been a crime problem in D.C.
So here's Joe Scarborough of TDSBC owning up to the fact that Trump is right. Washington, D.C. does have a crime problem. Of course, I've addressed the statement that his friend made, his very liberal friend made, saying that, oh, Trump is doing a good thing, but we know he's doing it for political reasons. That's the cope that we see on the left. They say things like this because they want to discount the actual good that the president is trying to do for the people of Washington, D.C. Now, I left a poll on YouTube. Please let me know. Do you think that Democrats are honest about crime? Because last night we saw the mayor of Chicago expressly saying that they didn't want Trump to come help them, and that he was a danger to humanity. We've seen California with a rampant crime, like we saw crime like we had never seen before over the last 3 years. We've seen shops leaving, stores, chain stores leaving California because right now they can't do business. Young criminals run into the stores, grab things, and the laws on the books at the time prevented the stores from apprehending these hoodlums. Democrats sit like a dystopian hellhole. Most of them are living off of the glory of stuff that was built 100 years ago. So when you ask the average Democrat, what's going on with crime? Is Donald Trump actually doing this to help anyone? They tell you no. He's doing it for political reasons. So if you have any questions, put them in the chat. I would like to have a quick conversation with you. Now, let's look at the comments section, okay? Because I love to read the comments section. I don't get to do it enough. So let's see. Now, here's someone here who's saying, I've never had a problem walking around Washington, D.C. at night. I grew up there. Great restaurants, great music clubs. This is someone who lives in a bubble. It's like a politician saying, I've never experienced crime. Meanwhile, they have 24-hour-a-day private security? How would they experience crime? So these are people who live in a bubble, or they live in a different part of town that is gated, that's more secure, more policed, and they honestly haven't seen any crime. This other person says, Helen Sexton says, I know he's doing it for politics, but then goes on to list all the actual crime that has been happening, like it ain't a good reason for Trump to want to clean up the capital of the USA. He's just doing it for politics. It couldn't possibly be that he cares about people and wants them safe. Nah, it's just for politics. That's what you keep hearing from people who are sold out. I would say they've sold their souls to a liberal narrative. Common sense doesn't exist for such people. It's heartwarming. It's heartening to hear a liberal voice this truth so clearly. Crime doesn't discriminate based on political lines. You remember that story about that gentleman who was taking a walk in the middle of the night with his girlfriend, who got attacked by a minority individual. He's black, got stabbed in the heart, and he died. And the girlfriend spent her time talking to the press about how it wasn't the assailant's fault. These people, they concern me. It's a mental problem. They can't own up to the fact that they're wrong about their beliefs, because the guy was obviously someone who campaigned on, lighter policing for people who are minorities, because it is politically correct. And then he gets attacked by one of those people that he's been campaigning for, and he gets killed by one of those people. And then his girlfriend, who buys into that narrative, runs interference trying to defend the person who killed her boyfriend. If this was a movie, it's like, no, this doesn't happen in real life. It does. People have been so brainwashed by liberal ideologies that they just do these things, they believe these things, they parrot these things, and they are willing to live in literal hell than have someone like Donald Trump come to help them. It's very sad and very concerning. All right. Safety should unite us all, regardless of our affiliations. So let me know what you think in the chat. I want to do a quick drive-by of this. Everyone sane wants to live, work in, and visit a safer city. I moved my family away from a country that I felt was unsafe. All right. I did it for my kids. Hearing firsthand experiences like this highlights how important it is to address safety concerns seriously. Everyone deserves to feel secure in their own neighborhoods, no matter where they live. The problem with most far-left liberals is that they can't accept that Donald Trump was right about anything. It's like accepting that he's right about something would cause them to spontaneously combust. They're so terrified about owning up to the fact that he's right about something. Now, here's a citizen of DC. This is a citizen. He's not a talking head. He's not someone who walks around with private security. He's a regular guy. He might be a family guy like every one of us here, or some of us here who are watching. And he's going to tell you, look, here's what I really think about someone trying to make it safe for me to walk around my own city.
Man, down the city is quiet as a church mouse, yeah. I came all the way down Pennsylvania Avenue this morning. So peaceful, yeah. I don't smell no weed, yeah.
Look at that.
I don't see no homeless people. I mean, I came all the way through the southeast side, all the way down here. You see now I'm at the White House jump, man. It's a shame that it takes somebody to have to sit in your classroom in order for you to be in order, yeah. Because that's what it feels like. You got to be babysitter to do your job, yeah?
My goodness.
Stuff been out of control for years. You got to do better, yeah?
All right, so he said crime has been out of control for years. We saw the press conference with the mayor of DC saying crime is on the decline. These are the people who don't have private security. These are the guys who face this thing every other day. We just heard Joe Scarborough saying that every couple of days, someone he knew in his neighborhood would get held up at gunpoint. And this must have been 5-10 years, ago. This has been going on for a long time. The city has not been safe in a very long time. Why won't Democrats simply deal with the crime rates in their cities? Because the same story you hear in places like DC, there's some parts of California that have the exact same problem. You have people who are on drugs, zoned out, zonked out, just walking around the streets like the living dead. And the governor will tell you that they have everything well in hand. Everything is fine. Nothing to see here. Of course, we saw that there was something to see when he decided to clean up his city in preparation for the visit of the Chinese president. Imagine that.
You gotta do better, young. And mainly, young, you got the problems. It's us, man. It's always us giving everybody a bad name, young. We'll see how long this lasts, young. How many murders was it last night? How many carjackings was it last night? Talk to me. And y'all keep on posting all these data numbers and things of that nature that y'all see everybody else reposting. The stuff that came from the Metropolitan Police Department and the mayor, young. Let me tell you something. You can't be that stupid. You can't be, man.
Whoa.
Who enters that information to get that data analysis, young? People do. You can enter whatever numbers you want to make whatever report show what, but you can't hide the crime, young. You can't do it. Let me give you something to break it down.
Yeah, so when they say the crime stats are down, it's been going down for years. People fill in those data points. And I've always said it's always about what people experience in the streets, not what you claim is going on, but what people literally experience in the streets.
Down to you for those that don't understand. I retired from UPS, right? So what they used to do to play with the numbers or whatever, we have mission packages, you'll have drivers over the hours. They'd go in and enter the information and the report would show whatever they needed to show to keep their bonus that week for their bosses not to fire their ass. So stop believing that stuff. And I don't know if you ever had to deal with the DC government, young, but they suck, young. They have got a lot more better now that the officers have did what they had to do and got all of these people out of the government and got rid of the riffraff and things of that nature.
All right, so here's a report card from a citizen who lives in DC. When Trump decided to get rid of DEI, you had left-wing media losing their minds about what Trump was trying to do. They said he was being racist because DEI helps minorities. They said all kinds of things. He's evil. He's sowing chaos. And then the people who actually are on the receiving end of DEI are telling you like he's doing a fantastic job because things are getting better.
People actually do work now. Let me give you this for example, right? You got carry and conceals or whatever that were being issued by the DC separate department that was handling the gun license and the things of that nature. They went from turnaround time for like 4 months, 5 months for you to have to get a gun registered in DC and get a carry and conceal to 2 weeks.
Are you joking? That's massive.
It used to take you 3 months just to get an appointment to talk to somebody.
That's massive.
Take your information and your gun down there. Now, you go online right now and they got appointments available tomorrow.
Look at that.
How does that happen? What change?
Is that a government working or not? Let me know in the chat, guys. Come on. Let me know in the chat. Is that a government that works or is that just politics? Like the guy who sent in the text message said he's doing it for politics. When a government works, that's the job of the people we vote into office, to make sure things work. And if things are working, they're doing their job. Call it politics, call it anything, they're doing their job. It's like saying, this guy who goes to work at this company is doing a great job. Yeah, he's only doing it because he's getting a paycheck. Look, dude, my guy, if you don't do a great job, you lose your role in the business. Simple as that. So saying that Trump is doing all of this for politics, for grandstanding, that's, in my opinion, it's insane. It doesn't make any sense, doesn't hold water. But look, people who are liberals tend to cope on that like, oh, he's not doing it because he cares. We want to make sure you know that he's evil and he hates everyone. He's a danger to humanity. But things are working, aren't they? Yes, they are.
You put some fire under their asses and now they want to do some work.
It's really, really that simple. Of course, we'll have some comments here. Now I know that I know what a DC accent sounds like. Lives in the comments, butthurt that black people are also like law and order. But if getting guns has become easy, isn't that part of the problem with the crime? Who is this individual? I do not want to call him the R word because he's talking like when law-abiding citizens have access to guns in order to be able to defend themselves, crime drops. Because you know that the person you're planning to attack has the ability to inflict violence on you if you threaten them. It's as simple as that. All right. YouTube has a bad habit of flagging conversations like this, but I'll just say it, just to be truthful, I have to be fair. Getting guns has become easy. That's not part of the problem. The problem is the illegal guns. People who get guns illegally, they don't apply to the government for guns. That's why crime is up. And then the law-abiding citizens don't have the ability to defend themselves. Common sense said, you really thought you said something smart, didn't you? Really? It's true. The comment sections are just hilarious. Why does he say yeah after every statement? Because that is the way he talks. All right? It's like me. I have tics in the way I talk too. Well, tell that to your so-called black leaders. They sure making it look like black population agree with them. I see no pushback from the black community. No, the black community. So the way politics works is that communities have people who want to stand out as spokespeople for the group. That's politics. People who get elected to be spokespeople for the group. And the problem with that is, for a lot of them, they ride on the ticket of social justice, on DEI and, help the, social, now what's the word? Basically, they run on race politics. They're all race grifters. And one thing with race grifters is they want to keep the problem alive to stay relevant. Look at people like Reverend Al Sharpton has been in the civil rights movement for decades. And no matter how good black people have it in America, there's always a race problem. There's always a civil rights problem to fight. As long as there's a civil rights problem, people like Reverend Al Sharpton have a job. People who run for leadership in these minority communities have a job. That's what they use to get these jobs. And once they get those jobs, they make sure that the problem stays alive. Else they lose their job. Else they lose their talking points. Else they lose their relevance. So when you listen to people from the leaders from the black community, and most of them who are leaders of the black community who are conservative, aren't given airtime on liberal left-leaning platforms like TDSBC or CNN because it doesn't fit their narrative.